A journey from tradition to transformation, a life-changing encounter with faith. I never thought I'd be sharing this story. My name is Layla Arslan, and I'm a 48-year-old former follower of a deeply traditional faith from a coastal town in Anatolia, Turkey. For most of my life, I lived in a beautiful 2-story home with my husband Kemal and our 2 children. I was born into a traditional family and practiced my faith devoutly for over 4 decades. Let me start by telling you how everything changed. It was a seemingly ordinary Thursday in May of 2020. I had just finished my early morning prayers and was preparing breakfast for my family when I noticed something unusual. The right side of my face felt numb, and I struggled to grip the spoon in my hand. At first, I brushed it off as fatigue, but then an intense headache struck, not a typical one, but a searing pain that felt as though someone was pounding on my skull. The sunlight streaming through the kitchen window became unbearable, and the room started spinning. I tried calling out to Kemal, but my words came out slurred. The last thing I remember was the sound of my teacup shattering on the tiled floor. Later, I learned that I had suffered a transient ischemic attack, or mini-stroke, caused by a temporary blood clot in my brain. The doctors explained that my years of smoking, combined with undiagnosed high blood pressure, had led to this moment. Before this, my life revolved around my faith. I prayed 5 times a day without fail, fasted during holy months, and had completed a major pilgrimage. I taught religious lessons to children in our community and volunteered at our local gathering center. My husband often praised me as the ideal wife and mother, and our home was filled with calligraphy and symbols of devotion. Looking back, I see how deeply entrenched I was in my beliefs. I had never questioned them. Why would I? They were the foundation of my identity, my moral compass, my worldview. I firmly believed in the teachings I had been raised with and viewed other perspectives with suspicion. When I heard about people converting to other faiths, I would pray for their guidance, convinced they had strayed. My eldest son once brought home a friend who held different beliefs. While I treated them kindly, I remember feeling uneasy when they spoke about their faith. The morning of my mini-stroke had begun like any other. I performed my ritual washing and early prayers. I even wrote in my journal about a beautiful passage I had read the night before. Ironically, I was at the height of my devoutness when everything I believed was about to be upended. As I collapsed on the kitchen floor, my last conscious thought was a declaration of my belief system, a phrase I had repeated countless times in my life. Little did I know those words would soon take on an entirely new meaning. Kemal later told me that when he found me, my lips were pale and I was barely breathing. He called emergency services while our eldest son, Arda, performed CPR, a skill he had learned just months earlier in a first aid course. The ambulance arrived quickly, but by then I had no pulse. My heart stopped twice on the way to the hospital. The second time, they couldn't restart it for nearly 3 minutes. Those 3 minutes changed everything I thought I knew about life, death, and the nature of existence. During those minutes, and the 2 days I spent in a coma afterward, I experienced something that is difficult to put into words. How do you describe an encounter that dismantles everything you've believed? How do you explain to loved ones that the foundation of your life has been shaken to its core? When my heart stopped, I felt myself being pulled out of my body with a force like a powerful magnet. I could see the paramedics working frantically on me, but it wasn't like watching a movie. I felt emotions, thoughts, and spiritual realities with an intensity I had never known. My consciousness expanded beyond my physical brain. Earthly concerns, my children's futures, unfinished housework, seemed insignificant compared to the spiritual truth unfolding before me. I began moving through what felt like layers of reality. Each layer stripped away another illusion I had lived under. The first revealed how my rigid adherence to rituals had actually distanced me from the true essence of God. What I thought were acts of devotion were, in reality, barriers that kept me from a deeper connection. Then came the most unsettling part. I witnessed scenes that revealed the origins of my belief system. The sanitized stories I had learned as a child were replaced with raw, unfiltered truth. I saw the motivations and influences behind the teachings I had devoted my life to. The revelations were both devastating and illuminating. In this realm of truth, I encountered a presence unlike anything I had ever imagined. It wasn't a distant, impersonal force. It radiated love, truth, and justice. With absolute certainty, I knew I was in the presence of Jesus Christ. But this wasn't the version of Jesus I had been taught about, a mere prophet. This was God Himself. The truth of His nature and the concept of the Trinity, which I had once dismissed as blasphemous, suddenly made perfect sense. Jesus showed me my life from His perspective. Every moment I had rejected His divinity, every time I had taught others that He was just a man, played before me. Yet, His purpose wasn't condemnation. He showed me how He had been pursuing me throughout my life, sending people and circumstances to nudge me toward the truth. I realized that even the friend my son had brought home was no coincidence. She had been sent as a messenger. Jesus revealed the nature of God, not a deity demanding blind submission, but a God of relationship, love, and grace. The teachings I had followed emphasized rules and rituals, but Jesus offered a personal connection. The contrast was staggering. I also saw the broader spiritual battle at play. The teachings I had followed were not just a different perspective, but part of a system designed to mislead. I understood how even sincere devotion could be misdirected. Jesus showed me the true path to salvation, a relationship with Him, and participation in the sacraments as preserved in the Orthodox Christian faith. When I woke up 2 days later, everything looked different. The symbols in my home that once brought comfort now felt like chains. My prayer rug, once a source of solace, symbolized years of misdirected worship. My husband sat by my bedside, his eyes red from crying. He had recited prayers over me continuously, an act of love that now broke my heart because of its misplaced devotion. Recovery was challenging. Physically, I had to relearn basic movements. Spiritually, I struggled to reconcile my experience with my life. How could I tell my family the truth? How could I share that everything we believed was incomplete? I began with small steps, questioning things I had never dared to before. Eventually, I found a small Orthodox Christian community. Attending the Divine Liturgy for the first time was transformative. The sacraments were not just rituals, but real encounters with Christ. When I received Holy Communion, I wept. It was a connection unlike anything I had experienced. Sharing my journey with my family was painful. Some reacted with anger, others with disbelief. My husband eventually gave me an ultimatum: return to our old ways or leave. With a heavy heart, I chose the truth. Today, I live a simpler life, but one filled with genuine faith and love. I pray daily for my family and others to experience the truth I have found. This journey has cost me much, but it has given me everything. Through Jesus Christ, I have found life, love, and the truth that sets us free. If this story resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help spread this message of hope and transformation.